Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Dragon Miscellaneous. Now today I'm going to be giving you guys another Q&A segment, so let's get right into this with the daily question here. Question of the day, the one that they ask me every single day just from the site. Do you have a favorite knock-knock joke? Tell it. Screw you, because I don't have a single knock-knock joke I could say here. I really can't even think of one that's that good. I do like the one that Super Boo said, in the, I think he actually only said it in the dub, but he says knock knock, and then you know the who's there, and he said boo, boo hoo, oh don't cry, it'll be over soon, or something like that. I like that line, that was kind of funny. So there's a little bit of an answer, I guess. After Cell and the 7 years of training, Piccolo should be at least very close to Vegeta in power, since everyone was close in power. Could Piccolo beat Piccon after that training? I think that Piccolo at his peak after the 7 years will be able to beat Perfect Cell, if he was still training, of course, which, you know, we can assume he was, but I don't think he was close to Goku or Vegeta either, so I don't think he could beat Piccon either. If Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, who fought Beerus, isn't stronger than base Vegito, how can Beerus win if he can transform and do a Super Saiyan 1? I know I'm beating a dead horse, but everyone who cares about the new series and thinks that it's automatically stronger, when it obviously isn't. He is strong, but Vegeta would kick his ass. Well, quite frankly, there's no evidence to support that or dispute it, really, because all we got was that it pushed Beerus to use 10% of his power, you know, to withstand hits from Vegeta, basically. It does not indicate how strong Vegeta had become in any sense, so we don't really know. It's hard to believe he became stronger than Vegito, but it's not impossible because there's nothing to dispute it, really. So it's all opinionated at that point. There's nothing to support either side necessarily. Let's see. Thoughts on Majin Buu when he tried to get a kiss from that girl? It was a funny scene. There's not much else to say. It was a funny scene. I liked it. Is Frieza real? Not technically. He's real if you want him to be, I guess. How strong was Piccolo post Room of Spirit and Time, aka Hyperbolic Time Chamber? I assume you mean when he comes out in the Cell games before the fight with Cell, at the Cell games. I would say he was definitely stronger than Semi-Perfect Cell, just based on how strong Piccolo was when he went into the chamber. I would say he was probably around maybe Trunks' Ascended Super Saiyan. Not his, Ultra Super Saiyan, the Grade 3, but, the Grade 2, the Ascended form. I'd say he was probably around that range, if not stronger than them. It would make sense to me, so. I mentioned that it wouldn't be as draining and unnecessary for Cell to use comparison to the Saiyans, SSJ. Cell's energy did not drain as quickly, while he could regenerate and rejuvenate his body at somewhat quicker pace to recover from the energy drain from the Kaioken would take. Well, I guess it's probably a continuation of the one below it. Alright, this question came up on Geekdom's video about the Z-Fighters not using Kaioken technique. I had a question about it in the sense of the Cell Saga. Why wouldn't Cell have known Kaioken since he knew other special attacks from the Z-Fighters? Why couldn't Cell use it at this point? Yep, Cell said he could use the Spirit Bomb. That would make him be able to use the Kaioken and other things. It's just writing, honestly, and it's not that he couldn't, it's just that it was not written to be that way. You know, that Dragon Ball Z leaves a lot of things out. Tons of things that don't make sense. There is no real way to answer it. But if he did use it, then pretty much he would be unstoppable at that point. The Cell games, Gohan wouldn't even be able to stop him if he had Kaioken. Why doesn't Goku just support his family by winning a food eating contest? He'd easily win. They'd be rich and Chi-Chi won't complain. That's true. That would be a really easy thing for Goku to win. He could do that to support the family instead of farming. Did you see Creed? If so, what do you think? I have not seen it yet, and I've heard it's very good, so I'll have to catch it when I get time to. Help, my dad thinks Broly is the strongest Saiyan. How do I tell him that he's not without offending him? You just gotta be an asshole about it. You gotta be strict and to the point about it Otherwise, people just won't understand that Broly is not that strong. What if Piccolo fused with the maker of the Super Dragon Balls to increase his power? That's interesting. I mean, it's not really the same as him going to fuse back with Kami. But it'd be similar to the Nail and Piccolo fusion, but I don't really. I mean, it could be a little bit different because he's a maker of the Dragon Balls, though, and the original maker, for that matter. So, but but the thing is that it's actually implied from the manga chapter that the maker of the Namekian Balls most likely is not, or not Namekian Balls. The maker of the Super Dragon Balls is most likely not Namekian, because if I'm remembering, again, this is me remembering off the top of my head, I'm a very forgetful person. But, if I recollect correctly here, the Super Dragon Balls were shaved, or there was like, what, was like one of the Dragon Balls or something was shaved down to make the Namekian Balls, and that's how they kind of learned how to make them. Something along those lines. Don't quote me on that, because I'm just remembering off the top of my head from information we got a couple months ago that I haven't really brushed up upon. It was something like that. They used the Super Dragon Balls to like shave those down, and that kind of made the Namekian one. So it's kind of implied that the creator, at least in my opinion, would not be a Namekian. But who knows, really? We have to really go into that arc and find out more about the Super Dragon Balls. I know someone's going to correct me, but again, I just forgot exactly what was mentioned off the top of my head. Piccolo ended the Cell Saga versus Semi-Perfect Cell. Kind of answered this before. I think he was definitely stronger than Semi-Perfect Cell. I think Piccolo would probably mop the floor with him. First form Cell, no humans / energy absorbed versus 100% Frieza. I think Cell would still mop the floor with Frieza. Great Ape Baby versus Super 17 without ability to absorb energy. I think Great Ape Baby, and the reason I say this is I think Super 17's power might be misconstrued by some people. And it's weird because I always look at it like this. Yes, he let Goku beat him. In a sense, well, it wasn't confirmed or anything like that. In the Japanese, it's more prevalent where Goku says, "I'd like to think he was helping us," or something along those lines. GT is actually a bigger offender to like script changes in a lot of senses than even Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball. GT script changes are crazy. A lot of things are weird about it, and I think that I would like to think that 17 obviously was letting, for all sakes and purposes, we'll just say that 17 let Goku beat him. The fact of the matter is Goku wasn't in his base form when he defeated 17, and 17 was powered up to his absolute max. I think that, especially without the ability to absorb, I would think that Great Ape Baby, who was around the Super Saiyan 4 Goku level, would most definitely, I think, beat Super 17 in my honest opinion. What do you guys think of that one, actually? I'm actually kind of curious about that because, again, no energy absorption. I mean, Baby's going to be pretty much throwing him around, I would think. I don't know. What do you guys think of that one? I think that, you know, one thing a lot of people don't notice, and again, I think this is more, from my knowledge at least, from what I remember, more prevalent in the Japanese. When Goku was giving, like, 17 energy when he was Super Saiyan 4, Goku was kind of saying, like, you know, I'm trying to find out your weakness. A lot of people say Goku was dumb right there. Goku's trying to figure out his weakness and stuff, kind of figure out what his game was, in a sense. If I'm remembering correctly, though, I have to brush up on some of the GT stuff, but what do you guys think of that? Great Ape Baby versus Super 17 without the ability to absorb energy. That's an interesting one. Again, there might be something I'm missing there, just for lack of memory, but someone's going to roast me in the comments no matter what. Call me an idiot, that's fine. You can let them do that. Gohan Resurrection F/Super versus Future Gohan. I'd say Gohan, even though he obviously declined and said he can probably still go Super Saiyan, I'd find it hard to believe he got weaker than Future Gohan. I think the weakest he could have gotten was like Semi-Perfect Cell, and even that's still BS completely. But it's obviously they didn't care about the writing or the power scaling in that movie and arc. So, first form Resurrection of S Frieza versus 17, 16, and 18. I think Frieza would mop the floor with all of them. First form Frieza Resurrection F versus Bojack. That's tough because the thing is, guys, since final form Frieza is his, you know, that is his base form technically, because that's the form he was born into. That is his original form. When he goes to dial it back into his first form, is the same percentage of energy lost really? You know what I mean? From like when Frieza was 120 million, his first form dials it back to 530,000. Is that same percentage lost, or is it a different kind of number? Because it's weird, isn't it? Because I can't see. It's hard though, because it's just assumption based how strong he'd be. But I think you could probably take Bojack. But like, it's weird though. That the big question, guys, is if his power gets dialed back the same amount as it did before his training, if that makes sense. I hope I'm not confusing anyone. I want to hear what you guys think about that one too, because there's no real way to say that it doesn't go the same amount of energy dialed back, and there's nothing to really say that it would necessarily not go back the same amount, if that makes sense. Either way it goes, it's just opinionated, but I mean, it wouldn't make sense for it to really get dialed back less. I'm just rambling at this point. I think I'm gonna confuse too many people. I'm just gonna move on from the question. Favorite football team, or actually I read the second one first. I don't watch football, so I guess both of these questions don't really matter. That's the best way to answer them, right? Favorite wrestler, I can answer that. I don't watch wrestling anymore, but The Undertaker was my favorite when I used to watch it. Could Frieza go buff like on Namek in his Mecha or Golden form if you wanted to? Mecha form, I think that his Cybernex would kind of prevent him from increasing his body. His body, like weight. Not weight, size, buffness. His Mecha form would kind of prevent that, I'd feel like. But the thing I think a lot of people maybe don't understand about Frieza, and the way I looked at it, is the reason Frieza buffs up is because he can't handle his 100%. That's why his power decreases. His buffness. And even in Resurrection F, he buffs up a little bit. Not nearly as much as 100%. But he buffs up because he can't handle the energy. Kind of look at Cell when he buffs up, the same thing. He's pretty much consuming so much energy. Now, we don't know if Cell's power is necessarily dropping at that point, but he was giving off a powerful aura. With Frieza, his power is dropping because he can't handle that form. In Resurrection F, he doesn't buff up or anything, and I feel like if he needed to against Goku, because he was losing that fight against base Goku, he would have buffed up, but I think that the buff thing is gone. It was only in Namek because he could not handle his final form at 100%. So, that's my answer to that. Least favorite DBZ character, I would probably say hands down Poir, honestly. Top 3 characters from GTA San Andreas. Number 1, CJ. I mean, it's not that hard for me to pick. CJ was awesome. Probably Torino next. Was that the one that was James Woods, right? James Woods' character. And then probably just Tenpenny, honestly, Samuel L. Jackson. So, maybe Big Smoke. There was a lot of good characters in San Andreas. I mean, I think 4 and 5 really trump in terms of characters. They really have... I mean, Rockstar in all their games has very well-made characters. I think GTA 4 and 5, those games especially, just really excel how good their character development is and just writing in general. Favorite Viner, I don't really have one. I don't really watch Vine too much. The rate Super is going. Goku Vegeta will probably be a match for Beerus or Whis by the end of the series, because no matter how much they train, they can't beat Beerus. With the SSJ multiplier added on to Super Saiyan God, Beerus and Whis should be at Mud Stops, but it's like the power scaling is getting thrown out. Well, the thing I think, and I might just do a separate video on this entirely. This is kind of playing tune to my Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan video, which I'm gonna have to do one because I've been asked to do it. I mean, the answer for me is obvious, but there are some little points to make in between regarding those two forms. I think a lot of people don't understand. The thing about Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, it's not Super Saiyan God power multiplied by 50. It's not that. Goku and Vegeta, both. Goku obviously, lost Super Saiyan God, did not retain all of his power, especially more prevalent in Super. He didn't retain as much as he was obviously retaining in Battle of Gods. They both, Goku and Vegeta, worked up to a base form, and that base form's still weaker than Super Saiyan God by a lot. Then that power is multiplied by whatever Super Saiyan gives him at that point, which I would assume is still 50, but we don't know what the multiplier for Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan is. But Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan is not in any sense a multiplier of Super Saiyan God. It's a multiplier of their superpowered base forms that a lot of people like to call Saiyan Beyond God. And I think that's something a lot of people might misconstrue and not understand completely. It's not Super Saiyan God times 50 at all. Not even close to that. But it's probably more closer to... I mean, I I don't know what their base would be at this point. It's obviously implied that they are stronger than Majin Buu in their base. By how much, we don't know. If it's just by a little bit, then I guess Super Saiyan 4 Goku and GT would Mud Stomp them. Why am I saying Mud Stomp? Because I'm looking at Mud Stomp in the question. I never use that term Mud Stomp. But we don't know how strong their bases is. They could be tons and tons way stronger than Majin Buu, which is highly possible because Frieza's like, I'll destroy Goku in an instant after finding out he blew away Majin Buu, basically. And that's just going off if Super Saiyan got Super Saiyan's the same multiplier. But we really don't know where it is, honestly, in terms of power scaling at this point. They are probably around... Goku and Vegeta is Super Saiyan God. Super Saiyan are probably around 75 to 80% of Beerus' strength. Golden Frieza is sitting around 90%. Maybe scale both of those people back a little bit. Goku, Vegeta, and Frieza. Scale them back 5 more percent. Somewhere around that range. 70 to 75 for Goku and Vegeta. 85 to 90 for Frieza, because Frieza was still scared of Beerus. There you go. In the GT... Okay, I'm going to leave it off on this question. Just because this is going to be a video topic eventually. Let's see. In the GT Perfect files, it states that Vegito is strong as a Super Saiyan 4. Is it possible that it was a fan theory that was put in there such as how fans call Gohan Mystic or Ultimate, and they put it into the games as he was speculated to be around the range from that fans, and now it's in the book. Elaborate. I don't think it was a fan theory. I think it was put in there for a reason. The thing is like, at that point, the only Super Saiyan 4 was Goku. It never says Super... I'm not going to, like, try to BS it and try to, stretch this out and go really dig deep. It never says Super Saiyan 4 Goku. It just says Super Saiyan 4. So maybe it's just talking about the Super Saiyan 4 multiplier. And I can't honestly... I have to look back at the GT Perfect files. I can't remember if it's talking about base Vegito or Super Vegito. But if it's base Vegito, I can imagine it being somewhere around the Super Saiyan 4 multiplier. But I'm going to do a video on this in the future. It makes absolutely no sense for Vegito to be anywhere near close to Super Saiyan 4 Goku's strength. Especially regarding the fact that Baby's ki was stated to be the most powerful ki that I think the, Kibito Kai has sensed, really. And there's a lot of things that just contradict the whole Vegito thing. And again, it doesn't say Super Saiyan 4 Goku, it just says Super Saiyan 4. That's like saying, oh, this character is, this fusion's as strong as Super Saiyan 3. Well, maybe just a Super Saiyan 3 multiplier? I don't know. But I don't know. I could be looking into it too deep. I'm going to do the video eventually. I don't know when. But that's a little bit of taste of what I might say. And you got to think another thing is that the way that... And this is kind of regarding the whole Vegito versus Beerus thing. I'm not trying to get involved in that right now. But just stating this is that Toriyama / Toei combined, their imagination of what Vegito's power would be is going to be completely different to what the people that made the Perfect Files' opinion on Vegito, if that makes sense. They're two different teams working on one character, making two different power levels for them, if that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't make sense. I'll make it more concise in the video, but that's another big thing. You gotta look at writing and what teams are working on these things. So it's all very interesting. GT does not coincide with Battle of Gods and Super, so whatever the GT creators are telling us Vegito's strength is not exactly indicative of what Toriyama and the makers of Battle of Gods and Super find him. Don't know if that makes sense. I've been up all day, so I feel like a lot of things I've been saying in this video don't make sense. If you guys need me to re-clarify anything, please comment down below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this Q&A here. Again, what do you guys think of that matchup I said earlier? Great Ape Baby Vegeta versus Super 17 without absorption or energy absorption, anything like that. What do you guys think of that? I want to hear what you think of that down in the comment section down below. And what do you think regarding the last question I just answered here about Vegito and Super Saiyan 4 Goku? Do you think that's got some relevance to the whole debate, or do you think I'm just kind of digging way too deep and looking into it too much? Let me know what you guys think of that. But other than that, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.